Welcome to the Full Moon Film Buff, episode 192. We're going to discuss Werewolf Fever, released in 2009. I rented this from Amazon Prime. I had not seen this before. As always, we start with the prominent crew and cast. You can also find links to a more complete credit list in the show notes. This film was written, directed, and makeup was done by Brian Singleton. Brian Singleton had a 6-year career across multiple roles: producing, directing, writing, editing, even acting, and makeup. The cast includes Mark Cornea as Co-op, Heather Duthie as Mandy, Miles Finlayson as Bart Mannion, Megan Fortier as Sandy, Rich Glasgow as Frank, Ian Lloyd as Odie Buckmeyer, Camille Marcil as Lucille the Hooker, Kevin Norris as Rusty Stubbs Robinson, and Mark Singleton as Ronnie, aka Donnie, aka the Werewolf. Mark Cornea has a roughly 10-year career performing in low-budget, Ottawa-centered productions. Miles Finlayson transitioned from acting to sound and cinematography, all in low-budget Canadian productions. Despite the same last name, I could find no evidence that Mark Singleton and the writer-director Brian are related, but I assume they are. Mark had a 2-decade-long career in low-budget Canadian horror films. Everyone else has at most 3 credits to their name. I loved every minute of this, but I know it's not going to be to everyone's taste. It's low budget, but it avoids most of the pitfalls of low-budget productions. The sound quality is decent. Even though most of the film takes place at night, it's never too dark to see what's going on. The budget shows up in the single shooting location, the limited cast, and unfortunately the werewolf costume. I can accept and enjoy that as long as the film has the energy that this film does. The story is solid, if simple. It wastes no time. The lo-fi gore special effects are great. All in all, I absolutely recommend it. Just know what it is. As a tidbit, the King's Burger Drive-In, featured as the only location in Werewolf Fever, is an actual drive-thru restaurant in Renfrew, Ontario. The King Burger was built in 1969 and remains almost identical 40 years later. The authentic retro look and feel made the King Burger the ideal fast food icon needed for the film. Werewolf Fever was shot on weekends for 2 months over the summer of 2007. I did a Google Maps search, and the King Burger is still there, looking much as it did in the film. And I kind of low-key want to go if I ever find myself in rural Ontario. So let's cover the synopsis. Our setting: Odie's King Burger Drive-In. Our cast of characters: Odie, a horrible boss, and his misfit young adult employees. The moon is full and the Canadian accents are thick and heavy. Co-op flirts with Mandy while ordering a burger. While on a supply run, Donnie is attacked by a werewolf while relieving himself by the side of the road. Not 15 minutes in, and we've got our transformation scene. Back at the King Burger, the crew impatiently waits to unload the van. Sandy's ex-boyfriend of 2 years ago, Bart, tries to woo her back over the drive-thru radio. Frank defends her, and the pair of knuckleheads engage in fisticuffs in the parking lot. Bart runs away, only to return with a switchblade, cut the phone line, and challenge Frank to another fight. Bart ends up the first victim of the werewolf. Sandy is the second, torn apart in the external washroom. The other 4 employees find the bloody facilities and panic. They see the werewolf on the roof eating Sandy's leg. They manage to get safely back inside the shop. The werewolf almost gets through the drive-thru window, but Mandy drives it off with roses that Bart brought. Since Donnie was allergic to roses and the werewolf wears Donnie's uniform, they come to the correct conclusion that Donnie is in fact the werewolf. They convince Ronnie to try to talk to his brother. The werewolf is not listening. They plan to bait the werewolf with burgers so that they can get to Bart's CB radio. This is when Odie sees them throwing food into the parking lot. He is pissed, but he's also usually mad. Then he gets mauled. Ronnie makes a run for the CB. He makes it and gets a frantic call for help out before the wolf disembowels him and eats his heart. Frank turns a mop into a spear and heads out to fight the werewolf. Brave, but stupid. Frank ends up smeared all over the shop windows. That's when Co-op shows back up and runs the werewolf over with the snowplow on his truck. He also pumps a couple rifle rounds into the werewolf with a rifle he keeps in his cab for good measure. Gotta love rural rednecks, and I honestly mean that. Co-op heard the CB call, but normal rounds won't kill a werewolf, and it soon tears Co-op apart. Mandy tries to get the keys off Co-op's corpse, while Frank drives the beast off with a fire extinguisher. The werewolf finally just busts through the flimsy doors. Mandy holds it off with hot grease and oil. Rusty grabs his Grillmaster Silver Spatula Award and stabs the werewolf, killing the monster and saving the day. Our survivors celebrate by getting rich selling wereburgers, which is concerning on a couple of levels. The single transformation that we get in Werewolf Fever stands out as a clever exercise in restraint and ingenuity, given the film's shoestring finances. It's rendered almost entirely through auditory cues rather than visual spectacle, a narrative and practical choice that sidesteps costly practical effects or CGI. Instead of typical on-screen agony like bones cracking, fur sprouting, and limbs elongating, director Singleton crafts a soundscape, immersing viewers in horror without any visuals. Key squelching wet sounds are reminiscent of kneading raw meatloaf or stuffing sausage casings, evoking grotesque flesh reshapings. This ties into the burger joint setting where food prep noises, grilling patties, squishing condiments turn sinister, blurring mundane work and monstrous change. For me, it conjures images of Donnie's body kneading and reforming like dough, soft tissues mashing, muscles twisting, without prosthetics or stop motion, differing from standard lupine shifts. This subtle uniqueness differentiates the film, prioritizing psychological unease over graphic display. In a visually reliant genre, it heightens tensions by forcing imagination. The scene's brevity surges momentum to the slaughter, where messy feasting echoes the squelching, reinforcing themes of rampant consumption. Ultimately, it's resourceful. Sound sells the transformation for a fresh, budget-savvy twist on a tired trope, proving the unseen but heard can be more effective. As far as werewolf lore, the film roughly follows the traditional lore. The full moon is in the sky, suggesting that it is the lycanthropic trigger. Donnie becomes a werewolf via bite transmission. A silver spatula is required to kill the werewolf. Werewolves are completely mindless killers in animal form with no retained intelligence or remorse. The film doesn't want to waste any time on lore. It wants to get to the kills and the gore, to its credit. So let's talk about the film's ending. The film pits a ragtag crew of fast food workers against a rampaging werewolf who crashes their late night shift like an uninvited health inspector. It's a bloody mashup of workplace satire and creature feature tropes with plenty of gore and zero pretension. But beyond the screams and splatter, the movie lingers on a fascinating motif: consumption. The werewolf isn't slashing for sport. The film dwells on shots of the beast devouring its kills, emphasizing that this brand of lycanthropy is fundamentally about hunting to eat. Victims are dinner. This sets up a chilling role reversal in the film's audacious ending, where survivors Mandy and Rusty flip the script by butchering the slain werewolf, grinding it into weremints, and slinging it to customers as burgers. What starts as the monster's feast ends with humans feasting on the monster. So let's explore this reversal, the motivations behind the characters' choices, the health pitfalls, and the broader implications for horror's take on eating the other. All while pondering if they tossed in the human victims, Ronnie, Sandy, etc., for some unwitting long pork specials. Throughout the film, the werewolf embodies hunger. Its attacks are always framed as acts of voracious feeding. Close-ups on tearing flesh and crunching bones underscore that this isn't your moody, cursed loup-garou from folklore. It's a beast driven by appetite, turning the drive-in employees into the literal menu. Humans are game animals, hunted and consumed in a cycle that mirrors the food chain's brutality. Yet, after Mandy and Rusty turn the tables and kill the creature, they don't stop at victory. They process its corpse into ground meat for sale. Suddenly, the eater becomes the eaten. It's a darkly comedic commentary on reciprocity. If the werewolf treats people as prey, why not return the favor? But does this extend to the human bodies? The werewolf killed 6 humans before it died. Where did their bodies go? Did their remains get minced too, deepening the reversal into cannibalism by proxy, with customers unknowingly participating in a taboo feast that echoes the werewolf's own gluttony? So, my big question is, what motivated this macabre menu makeover? Pragmatism tops the list. Disposing of a werewolf carcass discreetly is no small feat. Burying it risks discovery, and burning it might attract fire trucks. Grinding it into patties? Genius-level body disposal, especially in a kitchen already equipped for meat processing. At a profit motive, the drive-in's scraping by, so why not turn monster into merchandise? In a role reversal lens, this act mimics the werewolf's efficiency. Waste not, want not. The beast hunts to sustain itself. Mandy and Rusty hunt, post-mortem, to sustain their livelihood. But why not expose the truth? Providing clear, convincing proof of lycanthropy could net fame and fortune. Think viral videos and cryptozoology TED Talks. Perhaps skepticism prevails in this universe. Who'd buy a werewolf story from burger flippers? Or maybe the reversal is psychological. After being terrorized as potential meals, they internalize the consumption cycle, opting for quiet exploitation over spectacle. It's a subtle nod to horror's survivalist ethos, seen in films like The Descent, where trauma begets transformation. Yet if human victims like Ronnie ended up in the grinder, it escalates from disposal to depravity, suggesting the survivors have absorbed the werewolf's consumptive nature, perpetuating the hunt in a capitalist guise. The film doesn't shy away from the potential health consequences, teasing that werewolf meat might carry the lycanthropy curse like a foodborne pathogen. Those devouring shots of the beast-eating kills aren't just for shock. They foreshadow the risk of reciprocal consumption. By selling weremints, Mandy and Rusty could unwittingly infect the entire town, turning patrons into a pack of moon-howling maniacs. Did they ponder this? Probably not. Their decision reeks of impulsivity, ignoring how the werewolf's hunger-driven lycanthropy might transmit through ingestion as well. Imagine the irony, customers chomping burgers only to sprout fur at the next full moon, reversing roles yet again as they hunt anew. And if the duo sampled their wares, well, now they're vectors in a self-made outbreak. This setup screams sequel bait, a community-wide transformation sparked by tainted takeout. Broader themes emerge here. It's akin to prion disease and real-world mad cow scares, or folklore's warnings against eating forbidden flesh. And it even ties back to the original Greek myths of lycanthropy as a consequence for cannibalism. That's where the word lycanthrope literally comes from. The role reversal amplifies the horror. What begins as the monster consuming humans ends with the humans consuming the monsters, and then potentially birthing more monsters in a vicious digestive loop. Ethically, this dives headfirst into cannibalistic waters, especially with the specter of long pork from human victims. Werewolf meat blurs the boundary. Is it cannibalism if the creature was once human, or is it now just exotic venison? The film's consumptive focus heightens this ambiguity. The beast ate people, so eating it feels like karmic justice, a role flip that empowers the survivors, yet serving it, and possibly mixed human bits, to innocence commodifies atrocity, critiquing consumer culture where origins are obscured. Think factory farming or fast food's hidden horrors. Casually, it's grotesque fun, biting into a burger, unsure if it's beef, wolf, or your buddy. The reversal underscores horror's fascination with ingestion as power transfer, eating the enemy to gain strength, but risking becoming them. To wrap all this up, Werewolf Fever elevates its B-movie roots through this consumptive role reversal, transforming a slasher romp into a sly allegory for the food chain's reversibility. The werewolves hunt to eat ethos sets the stage, only for Mandy and Rusty to invert it by turning predator into product, disposal into dollars, and potentially unleashing a plague of their own making. Whether motivated by survival, greed, or sheer ignorance, their choice probes the ethics of eating the other, leaving us hungry for that unmade sequel where the town devours itself. In horror, consumption isn't just survival, it's a cycle that bites back. So, pass the catch-up. So, if you like lycanthropes, like, share, and subscribe. Contribute your thoughts and additional observations in the comments below. Let me know what I missed or what you noticed. Next, I plan to discuss Thor, Hammer of the Gods from 2009. Keep your eye on the moon, a silver bullet in the chamber, and we'll see you back next episode.